My name is John Carroll. I'm an associate professor in the biology department at Georgia Southern University. So I'm a marine biologist, and I primarily focus on commercially and ecologically important shellfish species. So the types of things we like to eat, things like oysters and mussels, clams, scallops, crabs, shrimp, that sort of stuff. And what my lab tries to do is understand how those organisms interact with their environment and with each other, so that we could effectively manage them, so that we could continue to eat them. Yeah, so there's a number of challenges that these species face. One is that since they're commercially valuable, harvest is always an issue. Now, there's management in place to try to limit the amount of harvest and make it sustainable, but overharvest is always a challenge with species that are commercially harvested. On top of that, we have issues with habitat destruction, as people like to live on the coastline, and we develop coastlines that destroys the habitats that are important for these types of organisms. And then that all is under the umbrella of looming climate change threats, and some of the associated challenges with increasing water temperatures. These are all what people might call cold-blooded animals, and so their metabolism and their function is linked very strongly to water temperature, and if water temperatures get too hot, they don't do well. And then the other part of climate change that affects the oceans is something called ocean acidification, and since these organisms secrete their own shells, acidified ocean conditions can affect their ability to do that. So there's a number of challenges that are facing these organisms. Um, well, I guess I always wanted to be a marine biologist. I don't think when I was younger I knew exactly what that meant. I think I thought that meant I would work at like an aquarium, and that seemed like a cool job. And then I did that for a summer in college, and I realized it's not a cool job. I mean, there's fun, but it's not. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and so I thought maybe I don't really want to do this. What else can I do? I learned to scuba dive, and so I had an opportunity to join a research lab because I was scuba certified, and from there I basically just got experience with some faculty that. When I was ready to look for grad school, we're looking for students, and that's how I got involved in sort of shellfish restoration type research. So it wasn't necessarily something I was super dead set on doing. It was the opportunity that was available, and that's basically how I got into it. Well, there's a number of cool things about scallops. One of them is that they have eyes. They have about 80 eyes. They have rows of eyes on both along the mantle tissue on both of their shells. Now, they're not making images the way we make images, but they have a series of these light sensing eyes that could detect changes in light and approaching shadows and things. And scallops have the ability to swim, so unlike most bivalves, scallops are semi-mobile, and so when a predator approaches, what they do is they have two valves, and they'll clap their valves like this, and that shoots jets of water out from between the shells and allows them to swim away. So they can be fairly active. Obviously, that costs energy. They don't want to do that, but when a snail or starfish approaches, you'll see them all start to swim away.